My name's Troy McGuinness, and this video series is on how to reduce the costs of LLM use in your AI applications. For the first video, we're going to look at how your AI app is probably using the wrong models. I'm coming to you from the lovely Pacific Northwest, and let's get started. Now, each prompt that your AI application calls can call a model, a different model. But often what happens is we hard code the frontier model in, and every time there's a new model released, we update the default to use the new model to get the best user experience. Now, this is the easiest way to waste money in an AI application, to send every task to a frontier model, because not every task or prompt requires it. Now, the saving's not from making cheaper calls. The saving is from not making everything an expensive call. And there's benefits as well. You'll get about an 80% saving by sort of selectively routing which calls go to which model. And it's not just the quality of the responses that you're looking out for here. Often the lighter models, the mini models, the haikus and so forth, they respond much faster. Now, for a very small classification task or for a user problem which just requires sentiment analysis and so forth, you get a much better user experience by that fast response time than you do by having to send it to a frontier model, encounter the reasoning time, and still get the same result. Let's look at some examples there. Now, what the mini models, remember, today's mini models were yesterday's frontier models in power, but detecting intent and extracting fields is something they really excel at. And we do a lot of this, a lot of simple summarization, a lot of simple sort of finding what this sentence is about. They should go to the lightweight models. Now, there's some middle ground there where application context, like summarizing a long support case or drafting a customer response, they're the gray area where you're going to have to make your decision on a case-by-case basis or use a model to help you make that decision. And then there's some where the user is going to take action on this, and that action might be irreversible or harmful. And in that case, you really want to use the strongest model that you have available. And you know, to me, it's all about sort of the risk of giving a subpar result. You might also choose to give your premium customers premium models and your free tier lighter models. There's plenty of options there, but you've got to think about it. So how do you do it? First of all, the easiest option is on a case-by-case basis in code. You choose which model it's going to go to, and you test against that model, and you make sure you keep the quality high. Now, there's a lot of smart routing tools out there which will look at the prompt and the context using a trained machine learning model and make a decision whether it should go to the light models or the premium models. And LLM as a service, our product, has this built in as well. So I'm not saying that's a bad way of doing it. It's the state of the art of what everyone's currently doing. Now, the third option is something I'm growing kind of fond of. And, you know, where the point two would send it to a model and get a model to assess it. Well, what I've decided to do in some of my prompts is in the system message, I say, first of all, decide if this is something you can do. And tell me if it's going to require a frontier model with deep reasoning, just return the string premium needed. Otherwise, answer the question. And what I get back then is the result 80% of the time, and that 20% of the time I reissue a call to a stronger model, but I've done it in one jump. Let's go and take a look at how I do this in code. Now, one of our free open source libraries is Prompt Ops Kit. There'll be a link in the description. You don't have to use it for this. I'm using it to demonstrate how we route different prompts to different models. And the way it works is you keep all your prompts in a prompts folder in these markdown files, and there's inheritance. So defaults MD will be the model that every prompt goes to if you don't override it. So for a simple task, what we do is this is a classification task. It takes in a biology text string, and what it does is it classifies it as a plant, animal, bacteria, virus, or unknown. And this classification problem is something that these mini models nail. Now, I haven't specified the model here, so it is going to use GPT-5.4 Mini all of the time in all of the environments. But if I have a complex task, which I don't even understand the prompt template for, which is common when you're doing these context-specific AI applications, what happens here is that this is a question that the frontier models with very high reasoning is probably going to be necessary, and it's going to need to do research and those sorts of tool loops. Now, what prompt.kits allows you to do here is to sort of say, in the production environment, send this prompt to GPT 5.5 Pro. Now, the development environment, I'm really just worried about the response shape and that I can get it on the screen. I wouldn't understand the answer anyway. So one of the things you can do to also save some cost there is during development, don't send it to GPT 5.5 Pro. And that's what we can do in prompt.kit by just sort of having an environment override. In which case, when you're running in the dev environment, it's going to use the default 5.4 mini, but when you're actually in the production environment, it's going to go to 5.5 Pro. Hopefully, just in case this is something important. Now, again, I mentioned my new go-to sort of way of doing this routing on the fly is I have a system instruction that says, first decide if this is a complex question that would get a significantly improved response using the strongest frontier model and deeper reasoning and respond premium needed. Otherwise, answer the prompt. And I give it some guidance based on the context there of what I think a premium prompt is needed. And I'm finding that this is saving me a lot of call time, because it's 80% of the time it's going to answer on the first call. For that 20% of the time it's not, I have to issue the second request. But using the other machine learning model, I had to issue a second request anyway. So with that, I want to sort of thank you for this one. This series is going to be a series of videos like this where I cover one topic at a time and give you some guidance. Again, my name's Troy McGuinness. Check out our products, UsageTap.com and promptopskit.com, which is a free open source prompt library. Thank you.